Girls is an iconic movie that anyone with access to a screen has watched. It's a staple chick flick that is genuinely great. But why is it so great? What makes it timeless and a great watch time in, time out? Mean Girls came out in 2004 and was a box office success. This film grossed over 104 million worldwide on a $36 million budget. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, or to the channel if you are new. This is my first video on this new channel. I'm so excited. I've wanted to make a film analysis, movie analysis, game analysis channel where I just analyze media for so long, and I was like, no, it's too much work, so I finally decided I would do it. I'm so excited. You might recognize me. I have a gaming channel as well, and then I have a personal channel. I will link both in the description if you would like to find me there, or you might recognize me from TikTok, where I've been doing little analyses here and there. Please ignore the mess on my bed. I am going on a cruise in a week. I'm leaving this time in a week to go to Sydney to go on a little cruise for 8 days. So I'm currently in the midst of packing because I'm working all next week, so I'm trying to get it out of the way. So please ignore that whole mess we have going on there, but I'm so excited to talk about Mean Girls. I feel like it's such an interesting movie. It is a staple. Everyone knows Mean Girls, and it has truly had such an influence on pop culture and movies to this day, and it has had multiple spin-offs that were not as successful. So I want to talk about why the original is truly so good and what makes Mean Girls this huge hit. So the movie immediately starts with a nice subversion of expectation. We meet Katie, a homeschooled girl from Africa, and we are originally made to believe she is young and probably just starting high school, but this quickly shifts as she stands up. I like this beginning. We're already introduced to the concept that Katie is behind in her social schooling life, and it's a cute way to do it, with her parents crying like she's starting preschool for the first time. Her almost getting immediately hit by a bus is a funny, almost foreshadowing of what's going to happen to Regina later, and it's also a reminder that she is not used to this big, popular, almost city-like area. She is used to Africa. At the start, we see confused Katie, who keeps getting laughed at by students and yelled at by teachers, and this really does resonate with a lot of people who were either in school or went to school. It can feel isolating being bullied or having rude teachers, and sometimes the way this movie depicts this isn't even dramatic. This sad and truthful story mixed with the comedy of it all is why it's truly great. The way this comedy lands is really great. It feels like it's grounded comedy and things you would truly see or hear in real life. That feels like you can laugh at it now and when it was released. We can see Katie finally getting to meet Janice and Damien. Janice introduced Damon, I'm so sorry, I forget how to pronounce his name. Janice introduced Damien, saying he's too gay to function.
This is Damien. He's almost too gay to function.
And now, while I've definitely never said that about a friend, I relate to saying a joke that's really okay, only okay when you say it. When your friends know it's a joke and it's more personal, but it's not really okay when a random stranger or someone new to the group says it. This little scene that almost seems like nothing will come back later to haunt Katie, and I think this is why it's really great. All these little details you think are nothing always make their way back around, like any good movie would do. When Janice and Damien go to show Katie her next class, they actually take her to skip. When Katie asks if she'll get in trouble, Janice says, "Why would you get in trouble? We're your friends."
Where's the back building?
It burned down in 1987.
Won't we get in some sort of trouble for this?
Why would we get you into trouble? We're your friends?
I know it's wrong to skip class, but Janice said we were friends.
Katie instantly believes this, showing her naivety and how she believes everyone has her best interest. This sets up her trust in the plastics and why she isn't immediately in agreement that they're mean. This also mirrors real life great, as many people truly will hide their intentions behind, "but I'm your friend." It also kind of shows that in this movie, everyone's kind of a mean girl and no one's really your friend. Janice asks Katie how to spell her name, and when Katie explains it's actually C-A-D-Y, Janice insists she will be calling her Caddy because that's how it's pronounced. This feels really similar to someone who's been your friend ages, or maybe when you introduce yourself and you might have a bit more of a unique name, maybe from a different cultural background, and they insist on calling you either a easy pronunciation of the name that's completely incorrect, or just a completely different name that they consider more normal. And honestly, unfortunately, I feel like this is a thing that a lot of people will relate to if they come from different backgrounds. We then meet the Plastics, Karen Smith, Gretchen Wiener, and the leader Regina George. They explain Regina as pure evil, but this doesn't stop Katie from becoming friends with them, because no matter if you hate them, a lot of teens have the need to feel included, respected, and even popular. I know this definitely happened at my school, people who hated the popular group, and by popular it's just really loud, self-obsessed, and people who don't really care if they upset you. And even if these people hated this group, the second they could join it, they did. And you don't really realize this until you grow up. This is why I love this movie. It's funny, but has the ability to connect to real experience, which feels like is often lacking in teen movies and shows now. I also just want to throw in here from a less story and more cinematic point of view that these transitions in this movie are actually really fantastic at times. When Jason tries to embarrass Katie, Regina steps in to help. This shows that people really aren't two-dimensional, and Regina isn't just an outright evil bitch. In fact, most rude girls from your high school, I bet, did hide it and preferred passive-aggressive behavior or doing it behind your back. Most people don't like rude people, so those who get their way by being rude or catty are going to naturally do it in a sneakier way, just like we see Katie do to take down the plastics. When Regina defends Katie, she is of course happy, and the first decision of Katie is, does she listen to Janice and Damien, or does she sit with the plastics? She of course sits with the plastics despite the others signaling her to come over. This scene, we see how truly confusing it can be to navigate a person like Regina. These lines are genuinely greatly written. "I'm homeschooled," Katie says, before a little more dialogue. "That's so interesting," Regina says. "You can almost hear the sarcasm, but can't tell if it's just the way she speaks." "Thanks, but you're like really pretty," Regina says, immediately a backhanded compliment, saying, despite the usual homeschooled freak stereotype, you're actually surprisingly pretty. Katie then replies with a sweet "thank you." "So you agree?" Immediately traps Katie to either sound like she's got an ego or back down. "What?" Katie says. "So you think you're really pretty?" Shows how uncomfortable it can be to navigate with someone who's trying to trap you into sounding like a bad person. This scene shifts when Regina touches Katie's wrist and compliments her bracelet. It seems like an average compliment, just like this whole scene feels like Regina being nice at the surface. But as we all know, this has an underlying meaning. It's important to read the subtext in this and understand that Regina is not being nice. Instead, she is trying to trap Katie and make her feel powerless in this conversation. Later in the movie, Regina compliments a girl, then the second the girl leaves, she calls it ugly.
Oh my god, I love your skirt. Where did you get it?
It was my mom's in the 80s.
Vintage. So adorable.
Thanks.
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
This is important because then Katie can start to realize how Regina is actually a absolute two-faced bastard. I just love how all these little details are so intentional and they always come back around. It makes it great to watch for a second time. Regina really does all this to stay in what she thinks is power. The more she lies and manipulates, the better she feels, and this usually comes from a place of insecurity. Gretchen calls the bracelet fetch and Regina snaps.
For me. It's adorable. Oh, it's so fetch.
What is fetch?
Oh, it's like slang from England.
This is a common joke through the movie, and while yes, it's a joke, I also think it's a way to show if any of the girls were to overstep and take the light away, Regina knows it'd be Gretchen. Therefore, her getting annoyed about nothing issue, like the phrase, is showing the hidden animosity that we see in a lot of female friendships where one is potentially jealous of the other. It could also show Gretchen trying to have her own thing, which Regina doesn't want, as the others aren't meant to stand out. The Plastics decided to invite Katie for lunch for the rest of the week, and she tries to turn it down, but of course, Regina doesn't listen to her response and just assumes of course it's an excited yes. When Katie tells Janice this, Janice is excited and says, "You have to tell me all the horrible things Regina says." The way she says this, we can tell Janice hates Regina for more personal issues than we know. And while Katie innocently thinks Regina is sweet, Janice has a very different thought to this. Janice pushes Katie to hang out with them, and while if she was truly friends with Katie, she'd warn her to stay away from girls so rude, she instantly put Katie in a behind thought, only wanting Regina to get revealed as a horrible person. Showing everyone we've met is a bad friend, and currently the only good one is Katie. Really, the longer she is exposed to this environment, the more she becomes like all of them. We see the one thing Katie is sure on and likes is maths. She's so sure nothing could mess her up, until she meets a guy she likes. We see this throughout the movie totally derail her and who she is, especially in maths, even though she's smart. When we're with the Plastics again, we set up an important point later of Regina being strict with food and having what was probably an eating disorder. As Regina leaves the table, the others talk to Katie about any cute guys she likes, in which Katie says Aaron Samuels, the boy from maths. They're quick to say she absolutely cannot do this. This also sets up a reason Katie would want to take down Regina, a more personal reason, as Katie isn't going to do it just for Janice. we find out Aaron is Regina's ex. We see Katie's first upset at Regina when the girls see Jason with a girl named Taylor. This greatly upsets Gretchen as she has a huge crush on Jason and had earlier been blown off by Jason. This causes Regina to call Taylor's mother, saying they have planned the Planned Parenthood test results, getting Taylor basically banned from leaving the house. At Regina's house, the girls all judge themselves in the mirror, which is a sad but true depiction of how women often judge themselves. After the plastics take turns insulting themselves, they turn to Katie, waiting for her to insult herself. It gives me the vibes of when a skinny girl says she's so fat and in turn ugly right in front of her bigger friends. Like, just because you're insecure doesn't give you the right to be rude to your friend and expect them to insult themselves. This scene we also see probably the grossest things these girls do, and that being the burn book. A book where they write nasty things about others, just about every other girl in the school. We see Janice in the book, and when they point to ask who Damien is, Katie replies, "That's Damien, he's almost too gay to function."
He's almost too gay to function.
Regina replies, "That's funny, put that in there." Katie has her first go at being the mean girl, even if it was by accident, and she has a cold hard realization that it's not okay when she says that. I'm not trying to explain the whole plot of this movie, so I'll skip some parts. And if you've never watched this movie, I highly recommend watching. It's a fun watch that touches real subjects quite well. I love how the further the movie goes, the more we see Regina's real evil come out. It's like the less she has to lose, the less she has to hide who she is. I think something so interesting and a good plot point to mention is how Katie isn't truly on board about taking Regina down until Regina kissed Aaron. Janice begging doesn't matter, the burn book doesn't matter, Regina being mean doesn't matter, but this boy she met a few days ago is what does it for her. One of my favorite scenes is when Regina realizes what's happening. She takes a photo of her and Katie, and you think she's writing her anger out about Katie, but she's actually writing it about herself. It shows she's no longer being subtly rude, but now she's got a revenge plan to get back on top. I also love the ending of the movie. Something about the way Katie shares the crown and the girls and everyone starts to realize the importance of friendship and respect is really nice. Also, pure cinema, and no film bro can tell me otherwise. Like, just look at this scene, it's chaotic as hell. At the end of the movie, we see many plastics. This to me shows how it's an ongoing cycle that we have to try and encourage change through the generations, but better yet, encourage our own children, friends, and family to build resilience and stay true to themselves. In this movie, I really do think all the girls were mean. They lacked understanding of each other and put men and popularity above each other. This movie shows the reality of complex female friendships and how isolating school can feel, while still keeping it light and fun. It's said that the closest 5 people to you can have a real influence, and we really see this with how Katie changes. This movie is very calculated and planned, and I love how every part means something. Along with this, all the Mean Girls have some of the most iconic scenes that are still being referenced and has had a huge impact of pop culture to this day. But that is my thoughts on Mean Girls. I do really think the way that everything is planned and everything has been written and the underlying subtext of it all really does make it one of the best movies. I think it's something we can almost all relate to and we can all laugh about now. And also the comedy is so grounded yet still hilarious, and I just think it makes it such a good and easy rewatch. But that is all, guys. Let me know what you think of this new channel. Let me know if you have any movies, shows, or games you would like me to watch and analyze. And I will see you all later. Bye!